There's an invisible problem with your book idea that most entrepreneurs, experts, and creators miss when pursuing a traditional book deal. In this video, I'm going to show you how to spot it and fix it. You are listening to me right now because you have a book idea and want to write a book. You also want to be traditionally published or are curious about how that process works. Well, that journey starts with your book idea. And that's exactly when shit can go awry. Here's why. Sometimes when I meet people, their book idea is already pretty fully formed. These entrepreneurs, experts, and creators have thought a lot about their ideas, have tested out the concept with their audiences, and often have proof that both their audience is interested and that people will pay for content related to that idea. Now, this is a best case scenario, especially when these entrepreneurs, experts, and creators remain flexible about how their idea will shape itself into the final book. Then there's folks who haven't done that level of work. These well-meaning entrepreneurs, experts, and creators assume that because their book idea is important to them, their problem is relevant to them, the solution they're offering works for them, that their book idea will be equally important, relevant, and work for lots of other people at scale without proving out any of that first. And that, my friends, is the fatal flaw I see in a lot of entrepreneurs, experts, and creators who approach me with their book ideas. And while this can be true for any kind or category of book, it's especially true for prescriptive nonfiction or how-to books and self-help that I work on. That's because, and I'm really going super big picture here, how-to books are about giving advice, which only really happens or is appropriate when someone has a problem. As human beings, we don't go looking for guidance when everything in life is going super well. Instead, we go to the how-to shelf when we're struggling, when we're broke financially, when we feel broke spiritually, when we feel broke emotionally, and when we really feel or have a hunch or suspicion that we have a problem that a book or an author can solve. But the fatal flaw a lot of y'all are bringing to your book idea, to your book proposal, and ultimately to the world of traditional publishing is that you're not clear on the problem your book solves. So let's break this down with an example so that you can understand how I see this playing out in real life. And maybe you can assess whether it's happening for you. So I'm currently working with a physician whose initial book idea was a book on how women can navigate their health at every life stage. And while that book in theory would be useful and helpful, I didn't think it was going to sell, either to publishers or to readers. Why? Because that book idea didn't solve one specific problem for one specific audience. Even though women's health is important and relevant to lots of people, including the audience my client serves both in her practice as a physician and across her social media accounts as an advocate, that book did not limit itself to one distinct problem, right? It had multitudes of problems, multitudes of audiences. All women is too big of an audience for a single book to serve. And that's why her initial idea frankly doesn't work as a traditionally published book. The fatal flaw in that idea, and maybe yours too, is that it does not solve one specific problem for one specific audience. Marketing and selling that initial book idea would be a challenge because there's no obvious clear benefit to potential readers. However, having that fatal flaw in your first book idea or even the book idea you're playing with now doesn't mean you have to give up on writing a book. It just means that you must slow your roll and refine your idea first. So with my client, I suggested that we create a more specific book that would be still based on her expertise, but designed to help a very specific niche audience that she already serves. So we started that by narrowing down who she wanted to talk to, right? Who was the audience for the book? Once we had decided that to a specific demographic, I asked her to identify a problem that was important and relevant to that demographic that she gets asked about all the time. And she immediately had an answer. And so we built her book idea around that idea, right? So now we have a specific problem for a specific audience that is already out there, that is already important to that audience, already relevant to that audience, and that they're already paying for by paying for healthcare, right? They're already paying for an appointment with her to solve that problem. So we have proof that people want it and need it. And by doing so, we fix the fatal flaw in her initial book idea. And now today, as a result, my client has a saleable book idea where her book offers a clear solution to a problem that a specific audience finds important and relevant. So now it's your turn. You can test whether your book idea contains this fatal flaw by asking yourself 3 simple questions. Number 1, does your book solve a problem that other people, not just you, experience? And if so, question number 2, what specific audience or demographic has this problem? Can you narrow it down? And question 3, do you have proof right now that other people will pay to solve this problem? And spoiler alert, if you don't know the answer to any of these questions, or the answer is no, then you've got some work to do, hon, before you pursue a book deal. Don't say I didn't warn you. Lastly, if you're serious about becoming a traditionally published author, listen up. To find out exactly where you are on your book journey, as well as what literary agents and publishers need from you next, take my free quiz. Just tap on the link in the show notes or go to meghanstevenson.com/quiz. That's MEGHANSTEVENSON.com/quiz to get started. And until next time, cheers to your success.